So what's up, Jay?
Yo.
How you doing, man?
Good, bro.
Thanks for stopping by.
Anytime.
Sharing the word, sharing your life.
We trying.
And I want you to share, with our viewers a little bit of what this journey is. Give us a picture of what it is that drives you and what the passion is that is behind all these things that you're doing, man. So, are you ready for this?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro. Here with the Creative Artist Series and one of my very good friends, very talented individual, Jay, Uncommonart. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling good. A lot of good things have been happening. So, yeah, we just pushing.
That's awesome, man. I've been seeing that you got a lot of music, a lot of creativity. You got the shirts, a lot of movement, your personal training. I want to ask you first and foremost, how long have you known God?
Bro, all my life.
All your life?
Yeah, my dad's a pastor, so, we kind of just got thrown into that.
Nice.
So, yeah, we we don't normally talk about that, but yeah, my dad's a pastor, so I've been in church since, birth. So
wow.
I never really left at all. So
similar stories, man.
Yeah.
Case. Let me ask you something, because it's interesting. How did you find that love, passion for music and music engineering, production, all that stuff?
I would say my dad told me when I was 3, they just put me on a drum set.
Wow.
And then I couldn't reach the pedals.
Yeah.
And so I fell off.
Yeah.
And I just started playing the kick drum. And the keyboard player, well, if you're old school Baptist, it wasn't a keyboard player, it was an organ player.
Right.
So he was like, yo, that kid needs to play. And so
At 3.
At 3. Yeah, at 3. I was always trying to hit the drums. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was always trying to hit them. And then, I kind of stuck with it, and I didn't really get serious about it or really start playing till 16, 17.
Wow.
But then, I started playing the drums, and then that just kind of led into a whole bunch of other stuff. In high school, talented music, and that led into reading music and then theory. And
so you got into that stuff, theory.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Classes. What classes were you taking?
So in high school, I realized that I didn't want to take any of the electives. And so one day I was in an elective that you literally didn't do anything. It was called stagecraft, where you you just build props for plays. And there was a drum set, a fire drum set in the pit, in the orchestra pit. So, me, I was I'm about to go play it. I was the only one in there.
Wow.
It was just me and 2 of my other friends, and they were video recording it or whatever, and putting it up on Facebook. And at the time, and Instagram had just came out, and what we didn't know is the talented music and talented visual arts director was standing up at the top of the second floor. And so they
You didn't know he was there?
I didn't know they were there. And they were like, yo, you're really talented. You ever thought about getting into talented music? And I was like, nah,
And you were playing at church this time? You were in the
kind of,
music
sort of,
ministry?
but I wasn't taking it serious. I was playing, as a Southern, gospel drummer. I wasn't taking it serious
at your
all.
father's church?
Yeah, my dad's church. But, Southern gospel drummers are all about chops, and if you know what chops are. Serious.
Break down chops for some of the people that don't know.
So chops are just basic your fundamentals of drumming, what makes you sound really, really good.
Yeah.
So your fills are, around the drum set, and your pocket is how well you can hold the timing. So all I had was a pocket. That's all I had. And I have the craziest chops. I just had a mini pocket, and that's all you need sometimes. And
then you saw how in these classes and all this exposure out there was opening your mind to the styles.
Yeah, so my talented music teacher probably was some of the best thing that ever happened to me. He threw me into all these other styles, and I never thought I would play classical. I played a little bit of jazz because I'm from New Orleans, but I never thought I would play ragtime.
That's crazy.
I never thought I would play I played jazz, but I never thought I'd play jazz on an intermediate or a serious level, in plays. I never thought I would play in a play, in an orchestra, And I got through into all that, and it kind of helped with, just my creativity and putting all types of different genres of music together.
That diversifies,
Yeah,
right? Your sound
definitely,
palette,
definitely. Some of
what
the
you
best, the best artists kind of just know how to mix things very, very well together, or they're
Yeah.
just really good at something. But I still feel that they mix other genres together and just make it sound really good. My dad and mom weren't really like as a pastor, like they weren't really like listening to like any crazy music. Like my mom was singing gospel all day, every day, and if you're like a kid like me, you just wanted to kind of just like hit your head against the wall.
PK life,
Like,
PK life.
But like going out and just listening to jazz or being in the French Quarter, like I just kind of felt like I got a super love for it because it was always playing. There was always a type of soul or energy that was playing through music, and like New Orleans musicians definitely play with a different, like a different attitude, and you could really feel their music.
What do you think that comes from, and how did that affect you?
What the root of jazz in New Orleans like is strong, jazz and blues, and like they hold it and they pass it down through families, through generation, and you don't really see like a lot of young people really playing it, but you see a lot of people when they mature, you're gonna hear some type of jazz or New Orleans culture music in everywhere. So I think it oversaturates any other genre like hip hop or R&B, and even like the R&B and hip hop artists that come out of New Orleans still take that jazz flavor and that second line flavor and put it in all of their music now.
How do you think that culture in New Orleans affects, like from what your experience, affects like the church scene, the gospel scene? Like does it add, like are we gonna hear some different gospel music when we go out there? Like how do you think it
I think it
fuses?
adds a ton. Like if you've never been to New Orleans or if you've never heard Southern gospel, like churches, musicians, or like singers sing, like they're different in a completely different way from contemporary Christian music. Or so like some of the best singers came from like Southern gospel. Like
Right,
Beyonce, one of the better singers of this
She's from
generation.
Houston, right? The Houston
Yeah,
area?
she's from Houston. But her parents, I think her mom or dad was from Louisiana, somewhere down south. And she's influenced by that. You can hear it in her voice. Like some of the best singers came strictly from Southern gospel, and you can hear how strong their vocals are, or how great their flavor is, and how different they can really reach.
Let me ask you something, Matt, for people listening out there, and maybe they're not aware of a lot of that music from New Orleans jazz. Recommend that they listen to that will change their perspective.
I'll give you one, and it's like a guy who I've been listening to right now. He has a jazz blues flavor, but he's relevant right now, and I think like he is somebody who like people can kind of relate to, but he has like a different vibe. So he relates to like if you really like music and singing and just art in general, he relates to the younger and the older audience. His name is PJ Morton.
PJ Morton.
And he was one of those guys, like if you look up his story, like I love his music and his story. Like he's from New Orleans. His music sounds like, if you don't know New Orleans music sounds like, just check him out.
PJ Morton.
PJ Morton. He moved to Cali, and I think he was trying to get signed, and they were like, hey, we don't want you to sound like this. We want you to sound like this. You need to release a record like this. And he was like, I don't like it. And he left, came back to New Orleans, and then got nominated for a Grammy. I don't think he won, but like he kept his composure like straight to the core of like what his roots were. So like he's definitely like a guy I would recommend people just to listen to, because he's a musician and he's a singer. So like he composes a lot of his music and helps a lot of people on the way to like
dope, man.
Greatness.
How would you say that the music that you're doing today, how are you incorporating some of this, style, like from where you came from, where you grew up and stuff?
So like what I do is I like to study a lot of music that I like and other people like, and try and figure out like, okay, like what was in it that people really made the move? Like what was that part of the song that really made somebody either bob their head or like, want to get up and dance?
Yeah.
So I'll study like a lot of jazz, because like a lot of people can just sit and listen to jazz for hours upon hours. And like I'll go and listen to jazz, or I'll go and listen to something old school, like before my time, and figure out like, how can I mix that with this time, or how can I make that chill and relaxing So like people, I'm not just reaching one demographic. I'm not just reaching young. I'm reaching everybody.
Yeah.
So I'll just go study like maybe a bass line, figure out like, yo, what made this really, really, really move?
Like a classic bass line,
Yeah.
jazz.
And then I'll take it
blues.
and I'll figure out how to put it into my music. Not copy it, but I'll figure out like what were the key elements that they really used that was different and unique that made you really love the song.
Yeah. That's a really awesome perspective, you know, from a producer and a like a production standpoint,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, you know, we go through seasons where we like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. What season are you in right now with what
Man,
you like?
my music's all over the place. Like right now I'm like in a lo-fi chill hip hop.
I love that. That style is
like
fresh.
I'm in that. That's what's getting released, but like I have a lot of music that's like not seeing the light of day yet.
Yeah.
Just because like maybe I feel like it's not the time yet, or I just feel like, you know, it needs to wait, or it's just not ready to be out. And I'm trying to build myself an audience before I just start releasing a whole bunch of stuff that's off the wall. I'm trying to figure out what my audience likes. So I'll release a whole handful of something. If they react to it well, I'll just keep releasing it. Maybe I'll release something new, and if they don't react to that well, it's like, okay, let's wait on that. It's good, or at least I think it's good.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
Because it's your it's
That's the thing, like
your music.
I make music, and if I'm just making what you like and I don't like, I'm gonna quit.
Right. Because you're making this at the end of the day because you enjoy listening to it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
And you know, I believe that there is a market and a culture for everything.
For sure.
And I think that through this medium, what we're using today, social media, and just to be able to record a video just like this, you know, there's gonna be people that identify with you, identify with your music, no matter what.
For a fact.
So we don't have to bend and turn our music into something that, you know, bless you.
Thank you.
Something that we don't really like, you know, or we're just doing it, like you said earlier, just to please people.
For sure.
Right? Because, you know, at the end of the day, if you're not happy with what you're creating, then why even create at all, right?
Yeah, I think some of the best advice somebody ever told me, and like they weren't even a musician, it was wild. She told me, it was like an older lady, she was just like, yo, just create what you like and you're gonna be dope in your own way. So
I like that,
if you create what you like and you keep creating what you like, somebody's gonna like it. She's like, out of the millions of people on this earth, like
so keep creating.
You're gonna reach somebody, so don't think that you have to create in one style. Like the vibe right now is trap music. Personally, I can make trap music, but it's just not me, you know? So like, why create something that everybody else likes, which will get you, it's cool, it'll last for a little while, but if you create and you stay unique, that's what's really gonna make you stand out. Right. That's what made some of the best producers stand out like nowadays.
And there's people that genuinely, you know, you brought it up, so trap, right? There's people that love that rhythm, like they get moved by that, that's their thing. And you know, if you're out there, you're listening to this, you make, you know, keep doing your thing, like keep pushing it. Don't try to sound like
nobody.
These cats in the industry. Just do you, play your stuff that at the end of the day you feel happy with it, right?
Yeah, like always sound like you. Like, and if somebody calls your whatever you're making, art, if you're doing photography, if you're drawing or your music, if somebody calls it whack, like that's cool. It just wasn't for them. There's millions of other people out there that are gonna appreciate what you made, just not that one person. The grind never stops.
Yep.
Like even when you make it, you still keep grinding. Because you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for other people too.
Exactly.
All the time.
Because there's people that, you know, and they always tell us, you know, be around people that want to see you manifest the greatness inside of you. You know, and so like, that's why we stay close to each other, right? Because we pull that out of each other, and that's the kind of movement and the culture that we want to create for each other. Painter, singer, poet, right?
For sure.
Even an engineer that's trying to start a business, because you need creativity to do that.
Yeah, for a fact.
You know? So I want to shift gears and I want to get into, want to stay on music topic.
Okay.
But just, I want to know like at what moment in your life, because obviously, you know, you grew up in the church, you grew up around music, you know, you had your, you know, in high school, you had the jazz and all that. But at what point did you feel like, you know, I really want to take this music thing and make it serious? Like, when did you feel that? And, you know, also like from God, like was there a sign? Was there something supernatural? Like what kind of got you to say, you know what, I'm gonna take this serious?
I think when I was like 18 it was 17, every Christmas I would always ask my parents for like something. Like, you know, like once you get like, once I got to a certain age, it wasn't like I had a list. I only just really wanted one thing. And so my parents knew, and they always would get me like some type of something to do with music. So one year they bought me a keyboard. The other year they brought me like a drum pad or something like that. But they just didn't know about like yo, if you want me to record, I need a computer. Like they just didn't know about that because my parents are older. And so like, yo, when I was 17, I was like, yo, Dad. He's like, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, yo, I want a set of turntables. Like I want to start DJing. And this was like, I was into music theory, but I was like, I want to be a DJ. I want to be a big DJ. And
like actual vinyl turntables,
yeah,
like the old school.
Vinyl old school. And he was just like, why? And I was just like, I don't know, I just want to DJ. And then I think I found out the reason why he didn't get it. So we went to Guitar Center or whatever, and I was like, yo, I want that one. Of course, like I'm a kid, I want the most expensive one. It was like a set of turntables came with a Mac, is like $3,000. And my dad's like, are you out of your mind? Like, I was like, look, Dad, like this is what I really like. And then like he sat me down and broke me down to it, and he was like, so where do you want to DJ? And I was like, in my head, I'm a 17-year-old kid who's been in church all his life. I'm trying to like figure out like, hey, like I want to see what else is out there. And I was like, yo, I want to be like one of the biggest club DJs in New Orleans.
That's
he was
crazy.
Like,
not even growing up in that scene.
Yeah, not even growing up in that scene.
But wanting to be in that
He was
scene.
like, no. He straight up told me no. So like I let it pass. When I senior year, I asked him again. He asked me the same thing. And I was like, yo, Dad, like I really want to make an impact. You know, like I have a really good taste in music. Right? Old, new, whatever. He told me no again. So when I came out here, I kind of let it go. I came out here to college in Fort Lauderdale, and I got a laptop finally. Like I bought myself a laptop, and I started making beats, and I didn't really like, I was just like, whatever. They just sat. I think like my junior year, like they sat for like 2 years. I quit. I was like, yo, I'm trash. I quit making music.
Wow.
Two of my best friends, they're twins. They both make music. And one day they came across an old video of just us making a beat. He's like, yo, you need to just release your music. And one day I just decided to release a beat, and it got a really, really good like response from not only people I knew, but people I didn't know at all.
Right. So it reached out beyond your social circle.
It reached out beyond my, like what I thought.
Yeah.
And so then one day,
That's dope.
like if you've been following me since like the beginning of me making beat videos on Instagram, I made a beat video to a sample, and it was like, I only had like 800 followers on Instagram, but the video got like 1,500 views. And at that time, I thought that was crazy. And cause like I'm nowhere near Instagram famous. And then another page picked it up and put me in a beat battle against another guy, and I won. And that's when I was like, okay,
Wow.
maybe I actually do have something. And then I started releasing music. Like originally it was supposed to be an album, and then I was talking to somebody like, nah, don't release an album. They told me not to even release an EP. But I was like, you know what, now I'm gonna do it anyways. And it felt really good. At first it didn't really get the traction. Like it got traction, but then it started getting picked up by like just local playlists on Spotify. And it like, you know, showed that like, yo, people actually like the music that I'm creating. And it was just like, okay, let's keep doing it.
Gave you some extra motivation.
Yeah, it definitely gave me motivation to just keep going. Cause like, I was like, at that point, I think I talked to you and I was like, yo, if I release Few Friends and it flops, so like, I don't think I really want to make music anymore. Cause I released 2 singles and they sort of flopped, but I wasn't promoting them like that well. I just put it out there to see how it would do. But yo, releasing Few Friends, it meant a lot to me, and it did better than I expected. Like I had set a goal for like streaming and surpassed that. Like,
and this is like, you, like, what is your perspective on this? Like, you want to go all out with the music, right?
Yeah, like, you know, like I want like 3-5 years, like I want to be able to be like self-sufficient completely off of just music, just creating music.
Financial freedom to create.
Yeah, all day.
Is that
every
the
day.
goal? Is that what you want to do?
That's the goal. Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Just to create music and that be my full-time job and no worries.
Yeah.
About it.
Man, that sounds beautiful, right?
It's beautiful. It's tough. It's tough. They said the music industry is the hardest industry on this earth, and it kind of is. Like, just to put it in perspective, I think it's some crazy number. 0.0016 is like how much I get paid per stream. So if you want to get paid, like, you gotta really, really put in a lot of legwork, and it's like a 10-year journey apparently. So let's see if we can cut that down to like 5 or 6.
But it's a beautiful journey, though.
Oh yeah, you get to see your ups and downs. You need to fail. You need to fall on your face. You need to see what didn't work so you can fix it and go stronger.
How long you see yourself making music?
Until I die, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be that OG grandpa at like 96.
OG grandpa, like
still like teaching the youngin', like, yo, this is how you do this. Like, yeah, like all my life, man. I never want to stop ever.
Yeah.
Because you never stop. Music is like, when you look at music, you got to really look at it like your music is everybody's therapy. Like in any type of way. Like, if you put it into perspective, like, people wake up, they listen to music. That's their alarm, right? People go to sleep.
I can't be in my house without music. My wife will tell you.
Yeah, like, people go to sleep, they might be listening to music. You out to eat, you're listening to music. You're in the elevator, you're listening to music. You're studying, you might be listening to music. Movies, there's music. Fighting, there's music.
Always, man.
If you go to church, there's music to guide you into the atmosphere. If you're doing yoga, like, there's music. So if you're depressed, what do people do sometimes when they're depressed instead of doing what they're supposed to do?
Exactly.
They go listen to music.
Yep.
And that, like, when people realize like how much power music really has, I think a lot more people would take music way more serious than they should. Because, like, people are listening to what you put out as a therapy, and you don't realize that, but that's super powerful.
Well, what is your when you're putting this together, when you're putting these sequences together, you're putting these samples together, like, what is it in your heart that you see happening when a listener gets a hold of your music?
Like right now, because I'm making a lot of lo-fi chill, I just want people, like, what I see is, I'm making this, I want you to forget about whatever happened today, like, whatever happened bad that upset you, whoever, like, made you mad, whatever, somebody hit you or hit your car or something like that, or like you just had a rough day. Like, when you turn on my beat, I just want you to chill, like, relax, calm your nerves and just forget about it and be able to take all that negative energy out your life, like, as soon as it comes on, like, so my thing is always about changing your emotion, changing your attitude, especially if it was bad, just to make your day. If I can make your day better with a 2.5-minute song, I could die and go to heaven. I can die. If that was my purpose, I'm good.
See, that applies to anybody that makes art, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the medium is. Like, if your desire is to touch people, to uplift them, to do something in their heart, because, like you were saying, like, music sets the, like, symphony of life.
Yeah,
right?
for a fact.
It basically sets it up in whatever it is that you're doing. So, it's such an important medium, right? And what your perspective is on being, a man of God and being a producer, being a beat maker, in this culture, like, what is your perspective on that? What would you say people that are trying to balance those two things?
I just say, just do it. Like, don't take things, like, too literal, because, like, you never know where your music can take you. And don't, like, I've heard, like, a lot of people be like, I only want to work with, like, Christian artists, or I only want to do this with this person because I know that they're living a righteous life. Like, that's cool to me. But the way that I look at it, and, like, how I feel that God's put it to me is like, you can work with anybody. You don't know, like, how you're going to impact their life to change them. You know, so don't ever limit yourself on working with anybody, because people can come and cast you down like all day and be like, yo, you're working with this worldly rapper, but like their boss might be worldly and their wife or husband might be worldly. So like, yo, if you're a Christian, like do your thing, but never like, you know, give up who you are. Like always remember who you are, and people are gonna know who you are if you remember who you are, and just let your influence rub off on them, because a lot of people are just gonna ask you like, yo, how are you the way you are? Like when I go out and I don't drink and I don't smoke, and people are like, yo, how? It's like, bro, it's just not me. And people start to question me, like, you know, like, yo, how do you do that? How do you do that? And you just let them know, and yo, that starts to rub off on them. And before you know it, like, they're coming back to you and like, yo, I was really digging what you said the other day. You know, like, I really like it. So I would just tell anybody who's making music or doing anything artistic.
But hold up, you said something very key there. So like, without you having to say it, just by you being that way and having that stance against these things, by personal preference, not because you're judging it.
Yeah.
That, like, it's a testimony for other people.
Yeah.
And they're coming to you asking you, yo, Jay, how do you do that? Like, how are you able to do that? And it gives you like grace with them, right?
Yeah, for a fact. Like, people always wonder, like, that, like, a big thing for me is like, I was never ever like, my generation now, like, everybody's smoking. What's running your life? Is it God, or is it like, you know, like weed or alcohol or Instagram or whatever? Like, you know, like, what's the first thing you think about when you wake up in the morning?
So in saying that, then how and what's your perspective on being a beat maker, man of God, but playing in the world for the world?
I feel like you could do it. I feel like you just need to hold your own, like, you need to hold your own integrity. You don't bend, don't break for anyone. Like, you're gonna get tempted to do something stupid, like, don't do it. If you're gonna be in the world, be the light. Don't just fall back into the darkness, because that's not, I feel like if you're a Christian and you got the grace to be where you're at, you're there for a reason, and it's not to fall off. It's definitely not to shine and then, you know, help people or do whatever you have to do while you're there. So I would definitely say, like, yo, if you get that opportunity, you better stay strong and do what you got to do, and show like what you're really about. Show your character, you know, show your integrity, and be that man or woman that you're supposed to be in that moment.
And you got that access.
Yeah.
Like if you're a musician and you're playing in a place for the world, that means that somebody has given you access.
For sure.
Right? So now you can use your gift, your creativity, to actually be of influence to some people out there, right?
For a fact. I always tell people, like, yo, like, especially in a circumstance like that, like, a lot of people would like just turn it down and be like, no, I would never. Like, the thing is like, we can't be closed-minded like that. You know, if we never try to understand them, why do we expect them to try and understand us?
Word.
It's not fair. And that's not how things should work. So you have to try and understand how they feel, not get involved with it, but try and understand, like, why do you feel that way? So they can try and understand why we feel the way we feel.
Be like a voice of reason for Christ out there.
For a fact.
Because somebody has to reach him, right?
Yeah, for a fact.
You know, if it's not going to be me, it's going to be you, right? We all called to different ethnos.
Better somebody like me and you doing it than somebody like yelling at them and telling them they're going to go to hell on a street corner.
We don't want that, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you something. Have you been through anything like that recently? Like somebody that you ran into because of your creativity? And it doesn't have to be just music. Maybe it could be for personal fitness. But has there been somebody that was attracted to your gift, and because of that you were able to like help them or minister to them or pray for them? Has that happened?
My best friend like accepted Christ like last year. Actually out here, he came to see me and he knew what I was about. Like, they always tease me. Like, they tease me about, you know, like, your friends are gonna tease you regardless. And he came out here and he just was like, actually he was at the LDW concert.
Wow, look at that, full circle.
Yeah, it was at the LDW concert, and he asked me to go to the concert, and I was like, you sure? Like, you know, like, And bro, like, he was just curious about how I lived, and it interested him. And then once he got there, he just kind of felt an impact, and he gave his life to Christ. And I got to pray for him after backstage, and it was really awesome because somebody close to me, you always want your people close to you to be in good standing, you know, like have like some type of relationship.
And what an impact, right? Like, not only was he your friend, but you brought him into a creative impact like environment. And not only did you bring him into it, you were part of that concert. You were part of that LGBT concert. And he was able to see a whole nother dimension of these people that follow Christ.
Yeah.
And then not just the environment, but then to see these people doing their art, their gift, and then to see you, which you're one of his friends. Like, what did he say to you afterwards?
He knew, like, he was just like, man, awesome. Like, he was like, this is like, he was like, it felt good to really do this. And I was super happy for him, because, like, you know, like, he had been struggling with things, and like, it was crazy. Like, somebody was talking to him like, yo, I feel like you're going through this, and this, and like, it was on point. Like, I was standing back there behind him like, yo, he's about to catch it nasty, you know. But you know, like, it was super awesome because, like, you know, like, he's one of my, I only have two best friends, and he was there, and he really got to dig into and feel how I feel, like, on the daily.
That's awesome.
And experience something like creativity with us.
That's what matters at the end of the day, man. So Jay, let me ask you one last question, man, before we end this. What's next? What's coming up? What do we got to look forward to?
So, I mean, I'm going to be dropping music right now, working on the selfie. So right now, my focus right now is just to figure out with all my creativity, how to give back. And right now, I'm just trying to figure that out with art, music, and photography, and personal training too. So right now with the music, if you follow me at Uncommonart on everything.
On the screen below.
Right now I'm doing the selfie project. I love doing projects. So like,
tell us about the selfie project.
So all right, so I love doing projects. So if you ever like see me, like, I'll do a project if I really like something. So I did a rooftop project, which was wild.
Remember that? That was dope.
I think I need to bring that back. So right now I'm doing the selfie project, and then I'm doing the love project as well. The selfie project and the love project.
That's the project for the shirts?
Yeah, this is the love project.
Show them a little bit there.
This is the love project. We'll explain that in like a couple of seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that.
But yeah, the selfie project is basically, I was always like, I'm an artist, so I was cool with making cover art. But one day I was like, man, like, what if I took my fans' faces and I put them on my cover art? And it's kind of like, yo, you pay your respects, man. And you listen to my music and you really enjoy it. Like, how would you feel if your face was one of, like, the tracks that you really enjoyed?
Right.
So basically what I've been doing is I'll go on Instagram or Facebook, whatever. I'm like, yo, everybody send me a selfie, and then randomly every other week I'm dropping a single, every other week or every week if I can. Your face is gonna be on the single. Maybe this dope, week, man. Maybe next week, but I'm gonna get through all of them. And I haven't stopped dropping music, and it's been a really good like turnout. So people love it. And in 2 years, I might be like some guy having millions of streams, and you're like, yo, I was on his cover art. So yeah, I have the selfie project going on right now, and that's every other week.
We'll put all the links below.
Yeah.
So Jay, before I ask you to pray for the producers and the beat makers, all those people that say, man, I feel like I'm called to that. I want to go out there and impact the world. I want to ask you something, and it's in regards to overcoming, right? Because a lot of people say they want to make beats. A lot of people say they're beat makers, but I want to hear from your perspective as a producer, as a beat maker. What are some of the hurdles, and what are some of the things that you got to overcome in order to make this happen? Because it's not just spiritual. You got to do your part. Tell us about that.
So, I mean, something that I think first and foremost, like, if you want to be a producer, you got to really figure out if you really want to be a producer. So, like, I mean, if you're a producer and you're just starting out, you most likely probably work a 9 to 5, or you still go to school or something like that. So if you work a 9 to 5, or you go to school, or you do both, because I did both and I still made music, you got to really figure out, like, yo, if you do all that and you can come home from work and school and still have the passion and drive to make music. And if you still got that, I would say, yeah, you really want to be a producer, but your life is gonna kick you around like everywhere. And yo, when it rains, it pours. And I know all about that. Like when it rains, it really pours. So the best thing that I did, to be honest, how I got few friends out, because like I felt that me personally, I was making like a whole bunch of beats that I didn't like. I took all that emotion and whatever life was throwing at me, and I just put it all into the music, and I left it there. So I found a way just to take all that negative energy and make it positive by making music out of it, and something that was actually, you know, fruitful, that actually did well. So I always tell people like, yo, like if you're going through a hard time, or you have somebody like in your ear telling you something about you suck, or you just have a whole bunch of stuff going on and you're busy and you're hustling, like, yo, you can do it. Take all that energy that people are throwing at you,
all that negativity,
all that negativity that life's throwing at you, all that negativity that your family's throwing at you, and put it into your craft, no matter it's music, art, whatever. Yo, put it there, and it's gonna make something serious. Like some of your best music is gonna come out of that
struggle,
space in that area, because like, yo, like you have that energy has to go somewhere. Like it can't just stay there. Like you're either gonna cry it out, you're gonna be mad about it, or like it's gonna leave you somehow. So what better way to do it than in something you love? You know, you might not, and then again, it might not be the music you like. So you never know. Like you might. My best track was sparked 2 years ago. Like I made it, didn't like it, came back 2 years later, finished it, and it's my best streaming track. Like so never
don't throw
know.
it away. Don't cast it out.
Never throw it away. Always finish your music, and yo, keep that stuff for future references, so you can be like, you can look back and be like, yo, this is what I used to make, and this is what I make now.
That's what's up.
And everybody's gonna like your stuff. Like if you got a fan base, they're gonna like your stuff. They're gonna like it regardless. But just take everything that you're going through and put it into whatever you're doing, and it's gonna flourish no matter what, because you're putting your heart into it, and nobody can take that away.
Awesome. So Jay, I want you to do one last thing for us, man.
What's up?
In the spirit of creativity, I want you to pray for some of those beat makers out there, those producers that they want to do this for God. They want to go impact the world with their gift. Just bless them, pray for them, so that they can go on and do this thing.
Oh, for sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
Father God, we just thank you for this day, Father. I just ask that you just expand on that creativity on all producers, on all creators, on all artists, that you show them that there is no doubt in their heart, that they don't doubt themselves, that they don't doubt the craft that you gave them, that you expand on their creativity, and you show them that whatever they want to do, if they put their mind to it with hard work and integrity, that it will come to pass, Father. I ask that you just give them the strength and the belief, and you give them the support, and you put the people around them that need to support them, the people that need to tell them the right things, Father, that they may push their craft and that they may give more and bring more fruit to their life and to others' life, so that they may be an impact not only to their life but to others' life, Father God. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you,
sure.
my brother. So guys, thank you once again for following us and being with us. Leave some comments below. Tell us what you think of the show. Tell people about this. If you know any producers, you know any people that are out there, they're making beats, and you receive something from this podcast, share it with the world. So we thank you guys. We love you. Peace.
Peace.